Well, we rode out a day of wind yesterday in Tin Can. Dropped off a bit, it's gone round, still up a bit, but it's gone round to the northeast now, so we'll get a bit of shelter off Fraser Island. We're just going to head out to maybe Pelican Bay, maybe somewhere up Fraser there, and wait for the tide tomorrow morning to head up either to Gary's or Sheridan Flats. Some friends in Gary, so we might stop in there and catch up with them, which would be good. And I'm not in any big hurry. I had a pretty good time in Tin Can, but they're too long, I think. A week's too long in the marina for me. So good to be out doing it on the pick again. Anyhow, we just got underway, just taking it nice and easy at the channel, and we'll have the tide behind us all the way down to Inskip Point. Fantastic. Well, just dropped the pick in Pelican Bay. Sort of out of the wind here a little bit, and it is blowing a little bit this afternoon, but look, we'll be fine. Here's nice little sandy beach over there for Pip, and we'll hang here tomorrow morning about 7 o'clock. Tide will be on the way in again, and we'll hook up to probably Gary's Anchorage. We'll ride the tide up to Gary's and catch up with some friends up there. A bit of a smoky start this morning, a lot of smoke haze in the air, I think from the bushfires around Kalula we saw on the way up, but anyway, the wind's around to the south a bit. I wouldn't like to be going south today, but it's fine for what we're doing, just heading up the strait to Gary's Anchorage. So probably 2 hours and we'll be anchored up in Gary's. Hopefully we're going to catch up with some mates there and work out what we're going to do from there. But pretty pleasant day apart from the smoke. Well, we're in Gary's anchorage on Fraser Island, and of course they used to log timber on Fraser a long while ago, and these logs running down to the water, I'm not sure if they're the remnants of an old jetty or just slides for sliding logs down into the water and probably towing them away for processing. But yeah, there's a couple of underwater obstructions out here, so be careful if you're anchoring near this area. It's a great spot, it's well sheltered. It's probably the last bit of shelter from a northerly you've got in the Sandy Strait. If it comes up from the north, Gary's is one of the most comfortable places you can be in, but we haven't got much wind around at the moment. When you do come here, something you must bring is this stuff, because the sandflies are absolutely atrocious. I had to show me the whole boat off this morning because there were sandflies stuck up under the brow and all over the place. So yeah, they'll eat you alive if you don't have some form of protection while you're visiting Gary's, and they always seem to be. This is the first sandflies I've had on the trip, so it's where you always get them. We're getting some light rain at the moment, very light, but haven't had any rain for about 3 months. Been very dry, so I guess a lot of people will be looking for a little bit of rain. We need a bit more than this, I'd imagine. Anyhow, we're going to shoot off with the tide, probably about 11 o'clock, and we'll head a bit further up through Sheridan Flat, through the shallow part, up to probably Kingfisher or South Whitecliffs. We'll make the decision when we get up there. Weather's looking good for doing Fraser Island and probably some whales, so we'll probably do that. Anyway, give Gary's a visit if you're up this way. It's a good, secure little anchorage. Make sure you bring the air guard with you though. Have a good weekend. Pleasant night in Gary's, apart from the sandflies. They were all over the boat this morning. I had to show them all off, but we'll head a bit further north, maybe Kingfisher this afternoon. Not as many sandflies there, be a bit better. Weather looks like being good for the next week or so. Get up and do some whales, I think. Well, we've got here a little bit early, by a couple of hours I think, so we're pushing a bit of tide now. I'm down about 4 knots. So what I'm going to do, getting a bit of shallow water here, I'm going to drop the pick and just hang off it for 2 or 3 hours. We'll have some lunch here, I'll read a book for a while, we'll wait till the tide's going out, and then we'll get on that tide and get a bit of a lift back out of the Sandy Strait. Keep pushing that tide. Well, it's the local, I don't know about the local, probably from the Gold Coast I'd say, but might be a club. A few rivs, there's a few Sundancers, there's a Maritimo in there, so some sort of club. They're all heading north, having a good time, and good on them for going past at a pretty easy speed. Didn't rock us around too much. I'll get there a bit quicker than we do, that's for sure. But it'll cost a lot more. Well, I guess it'd be nice to go that fast, but if you're going that fast, would you be able to come down here in perfect comfort and make a cup of tea? Somehow I think not. Anyhow, each to his own, I guess. We've just passed South White Cliffs, heading out into Harvey Bay now, so I can see the top of Little Woody out in front of us. Nice little bit of breeze out of the east, and the heading we're on now, I thought I could get a bit of sail out, so I popped a bit of heady out, just giving us a little bit of a lift, and just nice to do. And I think the wind's going to stay like this for the next 3 or 4 days, so all great weather for skipping down the lee side of Fraser, and we should have some good weather and some calm anchorages down there. So I think we'll probably head for Mackenzie's Jetty or Kingfisher Resort tonight, and then tomorrow we'll slip a bit further up Fraser with the tide and maybe see a few whales, which would be nice. Weather's certainly great for being on this side of Fraser anyway, it's been really good. Yeah, I know Pip's not supposed to be on the beach, but Pip doesn't leave any rubbish laying around. All she leaves is footprints. So, you know, they're quite happy for four-wheel drives to rev up and down at 100 k's an hour, wrecking the place, but you're not allowed to take your dog ashore. It's pretty crazy law. Then you get done. It's springtime and it's mating season for turtles, and I've just noticed a couple out here having a little bit of a mate, so we're going to go over and see if we can get a bit closer. I'm doing the David Attenborough thing. It's about the only time you get this close to him, because he's not really interested in anything else apart from mating. There they go. What can you say? Turtles. Well, this is the sort of wind that Hervey Bay doesn't really like. It's pretty well straight out of the north. Not many places to hide. But I'm just hoping that the forecast is correct. It's supposed to go round to the east, which will put it over the top of Fraser Island and put you in the lee along the shore there. So what we're doing, we're just heading up to Moon Point. We'll probably stop there for the night, and then tomorrow I'll crawl a bit further up Fraser. And by Tuesday I think it's going around the north again, so if it does and we're a bit further up, we can make a reach across to Bundy. So that's the plan. I hope the weather accommodates what our plan is. I'm just juggling things around, trying to work out whether I'm going to go. I think I'm just going to take the boat to Bundy, and then I've got a mate who's got a car there. He's going to lend me the car. I'll drive down to Hervey Bay to do the seminar down there on Thursday. And then I can drive back up to Bundy and do the seminar up there on the 1st. So that should work pretty well. But I'm just trying to get the next few days under my belt, and hopefully the weather holds. It's out of the north, but it's very light, so it's not going to be a real problem for us. But yeah, you never know, I suppose. Like, the forecasting's pretty good, but sometimes they get it wrong. Anyway, we'll see what's up around the corner. Well, always good to get anchored up before dark. Only just made it today, but we're at Moon Point. It's pretty nice in here. The wind has gone around to the east, so it's coming over the top of Fraser, and we're in the lee of it here. So we should have a pretty pleasant night, and we can wander up the inside of Fraser tomorrow once we have a look at the forecast. But a few boats in here. But anyway, I've just decided to sit down, have a little drink and a few cheese and bickies before I go and cook tea. Been a good day. Today at Moon Point, we're just going to have a little bit of an explore up a creek. It runs out just behind Moon Point here, so we've had to wait for a bit of tide and go and have a bit of a poke around, a bit of exploration. Well, that's as far as you can get up this little creek. back out into Harvey Bay, but there's another creek that runs along the beach here and up to another part. I guess this used to be part of it some stage, but anyway, pretty shallow coming up. No deep holes to put a bigger boat in, but yeah, something to have a look at anyway. We know what's up here now. This will be the last night at Moon Point. Nice little sunset, the wind's dropping off. A little bit side onto it this afternoon when the tide turned, but pretty pleasant now. We'll have a good night's sleep. We're going to be up early and a bit of southeaster in the morning, so we'll jump on that and head across to Bundy. Should be a good motor sail across. Anyway, a bit of chicken for tea tonight. I think there's enough there for lunch tomorrow as well. Anyway, beautiful. Bit cool. We're just leaving Moon Point. The wind's gone round as forecast, so it's around to the south a bit. Not much of it at the moment, so a few boats left this morning. They're all motor sailing, as you do when you haven't got the wind, but it's quite pleasant out here and we should have a pretty good trip across to Bundy. The wind's supposed to get up around about 9 o'clock, probably about 15 to 20, so that'll suit us just fine from behind. And hopefully we're in Bundy after lunch sometime. Okay, motor sailing for old dudes. How do I know when to get the sail out? Well, I don't have a wind vane on the top of the mast. I don't know, just something else to repair every now and then, I guess. But I do have a wind generator on the roof of the boat, and we use that to generate power. And of course that is a wind vane as well. That tells us what the apparent wind is. So I'm motoring all the time, but the wind vane or the wind generator will point to the direction of the apparent wind. So as long as the apparent wind is abaft the beam, I'll get the sail out and motor sail, and I'm about to do that now. So the rules I go by, the wind needs to be abaft the beam and the wind generator needs to be spinning. So if the wind's spinning, we've probably got about at least 5 knots apparent wind and from the direction that I want it. So get all those things right and then I'll pull the sail out. We're about to do that right now. We've just come off the shoals into deeper water now, so we're into Harvey Bay proper. Hopefully the swells might die down a little bit once we get out of the shallow water. Don't know, the swell's still from the north a bit, so it's a little bit uncomfortable, but the wind is starting to set in and the sail will give us a bit of a help along. So all we do now is sit back and watch for whales. Well, it was a pleasant trip, probably about 20 knots at the end there, but we had a lovely motor sail across. It was really good, and just in the river now. I'm just going to go up to the marina, pull up at the fuel berth. Haven't put fuel on since I left the Gold Coast, so I better top her up a bit, and then we'll have a look at the berth they've put us in and probably move over into it. I think it might be a bit of a tricky one to get into, but we'll see how we go. Now, I've already got all the fenders out and the ropes ready, so I'm ready to go in and get some fuel anyway. But that was a lovely trip. Beautiful out there. We had a great trip across from Moon Point. yesterday, and we're tied up in the Bundaberg marina. They're pretty busy here. They've got a big river rally coming in, but look, the guys can't be more accommodating. They've tied me up in a work berth, which is fine by me, and they always try to help. The staff are friendly, helpful. There's some great facilities here. There's a chandlery, good hard stand, so it's a great spot to visit. Make sure you drop into Bundy on your way up the coast.